Hi, I'm Joyce,
And I'm Adrielle.
and we are Divinely
Divinely Guided.
Guided. We hope you've had a great week. We hope you had a great weekend. We hope you've taken some time for self care. Because as we talked about last week, it is very important that we put ourselves somewhere on our list of priorities, somewhere near the top. Remember, we're pouring into ourselves so we can pour into others from our overflow. All right. But tonight is a special night because tonight I've noticed that you all really enjoy it when Adrielle takes a leading role. I mean, we get more views when you take a leading role. When you all love it when she takes a leading role in the podcast, and so tonight we're leaning on some of her expertise. One of the things we talked about last week when we were talking self care and doing the Facebook Live. And by the way, thank you guys so much. It was really, don't you think it added a lot to it to do it with that live audience and have you all to engage with us? So please continue to engage with us under the comments, and we will come back and do a live again because it was so much richer.
Yeah.
But during the conversation, we started talking about breathing and the importance of breathing fully, inhaling, and some of the benefits. And so, of course, Adrielle is a certified yoga instructor. And if I'm not wrong, and do correct me if I'm wrong, breathing is the correct breathing, and breathing deeply is like a key part of yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Adrielle is going to share some information about breathing. What are we talking about tonight? We're going to talk about types of breathing or ways to breathe, or what are we going to focus in on tonight?
We're going to talk about types of breathing and really, I guess, what it means in the yoga world. And then what are some of the benefits of doing breath work, as you say in English. I am one of those yogis who uses Sanskrit. But I'm going to use English tonight because it is kind of obnoxious when you say words people don't understand, I've learned. It's not even trying to be obnoxious. I just will... The way that I learned it, because I learned it straight from people out of Goa, India.
Mm-hmm.
So they taught us, like, their language.
Okay.
So that's why I would use those terms. And so whenever I say this because I've taught you guys the breath stuff, and I was using the Sanskrit words, and I was like, I feel like that's a bit much. So
I actually liked it because you would give us the Sanskrit, but then you would tell us what it meant.
I can do that. I can do that now, but I'm just saying the reason I do that, and I'm gonna say a whole bunch of words, is like, what did she say? That's because that's the way I was taught how to do yoga. Like, they really wanted us to know how to do Sanskrit. Like, some people I know they get offended by that, but they did not. Like, they wanted us. They were like, if you're gonna do our thing, we want you to know where our words come from and what they mean.
Okay.
So
I liked it though. I liked it when you did that.
I like it too. I've taught public yoga classes where people are like, "Oh, you use Sanskrit." I was like, "Yeah," because where I got my certification from, they took that very seriously. It's a part of not like appropriating it, I guess, and like taking it and getting rid of the culture that it came from. Now you're distracted.
No, I'm not distracted. let me move it. Okay.
Okay, so in Sanskrit, it's pranayama. So in English, it's breathwork. Sanskrit, it's called pranayama. It's one of the, I'm going to break that word down. But it's one of the 8 limbs of yoga. So basically, there's 8 stages that you get towards self-actualization, enlightenment, all that kind of stuff. And that's one of the things that you do on the road to it, that you constantly do, because, when people think of yoga, they think about the poses. Mm-hmm. But that's just something that's called asana. That's just one aspect of yoga, is those poses, and pranayama or breath work is another one of them, and there are 8 of them. So I'm not even gonna get into that tonight because that is more than we have time for. So pranayama, the word prana means life force energy. Mm-hmm. So that's like the breath, the life force. And then yama, that is the expansion of life force energy. So together it's the expansion of life force energy when you say it together. Instead of just, breath. It's a way more romantic way of thinking about breathing. So when we talk about breathing in yoga, like you said, it's about complete breaths. And that's called yogic breathing. So it's a complete breath that has all three sections of the lung. So when I was taught, we were taught to kind of, when we breathe in deeply, kind of imagine your lung is in three places and just fill up the top part, see the middle part of it filling up, and then see the bottom. And when you imagine it like that, it will automatically create like a really full breath.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's been beneficial to me because more oxygen is obviously good for you.
Right. And one thing I was looking at when they were talking about breathing is that most of the time when we're stressed out, we don't take deep breaths. We do some shallow breathing, so we're not getting all the oxygen in that we need to help us feel restored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna get into some of the breathwork types. Some of them have contraindications, so I would maybe look into them before doing them. I'm just gonna list a few that seem to be a common theme amongst the breathwork exercises. If you have epilepsy, maybe don't do it. If you have high blood pressure, it said maybe don't do some of these, actually. And then it says if you struggle with vertigo, definitely I wouldn't do any of these because that lightheadedness. Because when you first start breathwork, it's advised to do a few rounds.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to sit and do 15 minutes of breathwork if you just start out. I wouldn't do that. That sounds horrible because I don't practice breathwork as much as I should. So what you should really do is maybe 10 rounds of the breath. You don't have to do it forever. Just a couple minutes out of the day.
Mm-hmm. So would it, for someone who has vertigo, would it make them dizzier?
It'd probably make them dizzier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can imagine that, especially if you're starting out and it gives you that lightheaded feeling,
Mm-hmm.
that it can create some of the breathwork techniques. Okay, so the first one is called, I'm not sure why they call it this, it's called Shining Skull, which sounds horrifying. I'm not sure what's going on. But I actually really like doing this one. And the Sanskrit term is Kapalabhati Pranayama. So it is a passive, I'm not going to demonstrate because I feel like it would look ridiculous, but it's a passive inhalation and an active exhalation.
No, I think you should show what it looks like because if someone is going to try it, they should.
Yeah, I should. Okay, this is going to feel so ridiculous. Okay, so it is said to purify the left and the right body. So in yoga, we talk about the left versus the right, the Ida versus the Pingala is what those words mean. It's different channels of the body, and they both have different meanings and all that kind of stuff that we're not going to get into. But it's great for the nervous system, and in my opinion, all of these are great for the nervous system. Okay, so you would sit up tall, and you'd want to clear your lungs of anything that's already in there. You don't want old stagnant air in there, so just get rid of it. Okay, then we're going to take one deep breath in, and then for Kapalabhati, we... So you breathe out really hard.
Okay, so those are like short bursts that you're breathing out?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a short burst of exhale, and your inhale is almost like automatic. You're not thinking about the inhale. Like your body kind of does it automatically.
Okay, so you take one deep breath,
Yeah.
and then you exhale it with force.
Yeah. But you're not thinking about drawing that breath back in. Your body is kind of refilling on it. If you do it, you'll see it'll like fill back up on its own almost.
Okay.
It's interesting. And actually, in playing the flute, I remember our flute instructor in college would have us do that into the flute.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually it helps you play, it helps you sound better. It provides more support.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that interesting. That's actually a breathwork technique. I've been doing that for years and didn't even know that it was a thing.
But you know, when I was singing with the choirs,
We
always did breath work because you wanted to fill up, you want to fill your lungs fully in order to have a more sustained note and give it a better quality sound.
Yeah.
So we would always do breathing practice.
Yeah, because if you're out of breath, you don't have a lot of breath support, and it affects the quality of the note.
Of the note, yes.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that is Kapalabhati Pranayama, or Shining Skull. And then the next one is called Bellows Breath, or Bhastrika Pranayama.
Bellows breath?
Bellows breath, yeah. And it's an active exhale, active inhale. I don't feel like I need to demonstrate that one. It's you breathe out real hard, you breathe in real hard. That's Bhastrika Pranayama. That one is said to help with blood circulation. It's good for asthmatics, and it alleviates the accumulation of phlegm. Like if you have it in your throat, and I can attest as somebody who struggles with like sinuses and stuff like that, these do help with that, like clearing of that like out.
So which one? That second one you just mentioned?
Bellows breath. Breathe out really hard. Breathe in really hard.
Mm-hmm.
The same way I was doing with the, but it's both.
Oh, okay.
So, and here my favorite. This one is a little bit different though. That I can't. It's one of those that you can't even really explain unless you know what I mean. But so I'm gonna have to try. Ujjayi is what it's called. Ujjayi pranayama, and that means victorious breath. The rest of these you would not do in the well, in my opinion, you would not normally do them in the midst of yoga. Like if I'm doing a bunch of poses, I'm not doing bellows breath as I'm doing yoga. Ujjayi is constant. We call it the ocean breath. It sounds like the ocean because you kind of contract the back of your throat. Tip. I can always tell how long somebody's been doing yoga. Not by how flexible they are, but by how they breathe. Mm-hmm. Like always. Because if you've been doing it for a while, you hear that Ujjayi. Sometimes you'll be in class. I'm like, they've been doing yoga for a while because they got the Ujjayi breath. It's that ocean breath. It's almost like a snore. It's just... You probably can't even hear it.
I can
But yeah,
hear it.
that is how you breathe when you do yoga. You breathe, it's in the back of your throat. With every movement, you have another breath. And you lock in. That's the Ujjayi breath.
Oh.
And it's very cooling. It is like the victorious breath. It's what we do. And when you hear it, you know somebody's been doing yoga for a while. So, I've learned that. And I'm always trying to get like new people doing yoga, like breathe. And they're like, no, I am breathing. I'm like, you're not breathing. I need you to breathe. I would always tell y'all like, breathe. Mm-hmm. Make sure when you're holding that pose.
We need to do another class.
We do. Make sure when you're holding that pose, like you're breathing. Your body's going to relax the more you breathe. So yeah, that helps with relaxation, and it truly does. It removes the burning sensation or irritation in your throat. Like if you got like post-nasal, it kind of helps with that, and it does. It's a very cooling breath. I think I just said it was cooling, but it really is. Not permanently, but it can kind of help it feel sort of better. And then there's Brahmari. I've never known how to pronounce that one. Pranayama. So this is the buzzing breath. I like this one too. This one's great if you're anxious, for me, because for some reason the buzzing. Okay, so essentially, you breathe in and you buzz out.
So you gotta show us that one.
I think there might be two ways to do it. You can either like, or you could zzz, which I think I normally do the zzz on the out.
Okay, so you just breathe in and then the out you make the sound.
You buzz.
You buzz. Okay.
And I'm telling y'all, it's something about the vibration. It like helps with anxiety. I can't explain it, but it's the same way people chant when they meditate, which sometimes I do. Something about the vibration of doing that, it's something about that is relaxing. I can't explain it. You just try it if you're anxious. It gives you your mind something to focus on. It gives you some sensation to focus on. It has helped me, actually. I'm not sure what it is. And then there's the one that I taught you guys. Oh, I've taught y'all several of these. But this is the one that you said that you do, that I love.
That 4.
I absolutely love this one, and I recommend this to everybody because it's very simple. This one is very popular in African yoga, or Kemetic yoga.
And since you taught us that, that's the one that I use when I need to calm me down and slow me down. Mm-hmm. And just, for me, you said some of this you shouldn't do if you have high blood pressure. But one thing I like about it is when I do that, it lowers my heart rate. It just kind of evens me out some. So if my heart is racing because I'm anxious or been running, I do that. But anyway, go ahead and share with everybody.
So square breathing, and please try this one if you don't try any of the other ones if they were too weird, whatever. But this one, like, please do it just once. Try it. So you breathe in for 4 counts. You count to 4. You're 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And then you can go in that square as many times as you need. And it is very relaxing. It gives your mind something to anchor onto. It forces your breath to slow down, which will force your heart rate. Like if you start breathing like that, it'll give you more oxygen. It'll force your heart rate to slow down. It'll force you to calm down. So I highly, highly recommend that one if you don't do any of the rest of these. I enjoy that one. If I have like a performance, like a solo or something like that, and I feel anxious, that's the one that I do. Mm-hmm. That's always been the one that I do because I always meditate before I perform, and that's what I have gravitated towards.
Mm-hmm. And that's one that I like. Like I said, I love to do that one. that is probably the one out of the ones that you taught us that I took with me and I use constantly. But I like it at night when I'm doing my nighttime meditation, so I can just help myself, because my mind will race and I will think and think. But that helps me to just kind of turn things off. So I really enjoy that one.
And then there's one more that I just threw in there just as a bonus. There's alternate nostril breathing, and I taught you guys this one too. It's also called Nadi Sadhana Pranayama. All these long words, but it's exactly what it sounds like. Alternate nostril breathing. You use one thumb or a thumb over here, this finger over here. Or actually, it might be. I can never remember. Yeah, it's that one. And then you just like would breathe, and you'd alternate the nostrils. There's several different types of alternate nostril breathing with different patterns and stuff. I like the one, it's hard to even explain this. I feel like it's about to get confusing. So you cover this nostril, breathe in, exhale. This one, breathe in, exhale. Or, there's different patterns that you can do that with. Like you can breathe in and hold that one and then close and then this one and all that kind of stuff like that. So that's the one that's kind of confusing. But I actually really enjoyed that one too, because it gives my mind something to latch on to if I'm anxious. Because you're concentrating on, like you inhale right, exhale right, inhale left, exhale left, all that kind of stuff. And then there's the other one I can't ever remember. You inhale left, exhale right, inhale right, exhale left. That's the one that I like.
And that you taught us that one.
Yeah, I think that was the one that I taught y'all specifically. But there's different patterns that you can use. And they have different names, but I didn't write those down. And I, to be honest with you, I don't remember them. But they're all different types of the Nadi Sadhana. You just alternate nostril breathing. So yeah, that is my little lecture on breathwork. And there's a whole bunch of breathwork videos on YouTube where you can breathe with other people. And then there's the one where you breathe along to the beat of like the music they got playing in the background.
Really?
Yeah. They're awesome.
Interesting.
They're awesome.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
So I would advise you to try some of that. Find one that makes you comfortable. Find the one that you can do either at night when you're calming down or when you're stressed out, because I do that square breathing when I'm anxious sometimes in the middle of the day. And the thing about it is, I was doing it one day. I was in a very public place, but I was sitting in my chair and I just had my eyes closed and I was just sitting there square breathing. Nobody knew what I was doing, so, but it calmed me down and when I needed it right there in that moment.
Yeah.
So I would really advise you, find one that really works for you, and you can do it during the day, or you can do it in the morning when you're prepping yourself and prepping your mind for your day, and for being very intentional about how your day is going to be. And then, like I said, during the day, if you have moments of stress, or if you're just having a few minutes to yourself on your 15-minute break, just to help you, keep your heart regulated, your breathing regulated. It really does make a tremendous difference. And then, like I said, at night when you're winding down, find that breath work that works for you and do it. All right. So it is not very long video today, but I think it is one that will be very useful and very practical. And I want you to try some of them, and then I want you to let us know in the comments, how did you feel afterward? How did you react to it? Which one did you like best? Okay. And as always, we haven't mentioned it in a while, but please share the video. If you haven't subscribed already to Divinely Guided Podcast, please subscribe and then share it on your video page so that some of your friends will see us as well. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Adri?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing some of your yoga expertise with us today. All right. And for all of you out there, make sure you take some time to take care of yourself.
Because you deserve it.
You absolutely do. Good night.
Good night.